back to part 3 of this little mini-series, paddle shifters. First things first, in the previous video I mentioned these here. These are all replacement paddle shifters for Logitech G25, 27, maybe even 29, I'm not sure. And these were the ones I used a couple of months ago, and I wasn't quite happy with them. Very soft aluminium, very easy to bend, far from ideal. This here are the original Logitech shifters, and this here is a replacement I used from Derek's Spear. This is from some plastic piece. They say it's the same stuff that they make PCBs from. Yeah, also bends a lot. Anyway, after the mentioned video, a guy called Sebastian Ola from Romania contacted me and offered to send me prototypes for the paddle shifters he plans to build and maybe even sell. And that's them here. I have been using them for a couple of weeks, months now, and I'm very happy with them. They feature one core feature, so to speak. You can adjust the length, as you can see here. I don't know if this is also only a prototype. I don't know if he'll build a consumer version, if he'll sell them, and what changes will be. I think maybe this here will be holes, and you won't see this here, I guess, because he just added these things here because he thought material might be too thin. I don't think it is. It is 1mm steel, and well, it's super solid, I think. But anyway, I think he plans to make them a bit thicker. There's not much to say about them. They just work very well, and you can adjust them in length, which is great when you use different wheel rims, or you just order one piece for any wheel rim. Because when you compare this with this here, the original shifter, you see it's much shorter. And the original Logitech G27 wheel rim is 27mm, 27 centimeters. So most people with replacement aftermarket wheels, they use 300mm or even 320. Very often, if GT style rims, and then these here very often end up being too short. Anyway, what you just heard. So if you want to contact Sebastian about these shifters, just send him an email. I'll post the email address in the description of this video. And what you just heard was a very magnetic clunk here. That's the second thing I want to talk about regarding paddle shifters. Many of the modern paddle shifters in sim racing, and I think they got the idea from real racing. They don't really use springs to give resistance to the shifting action, but they use magnets, very strong magnets, and that's what I wanted to try out. Because the original Logitech paddle shifting system here, it's just a tiny piece of plastic that bends, and that's the only resistance you get, and maybe the little spring that's in the micro switch. And with long paddle shifters even more, you don't get much resistance anymore. So magnets, you use magnets. Basically, you just separate the magnets when you pull the lever. That's the whole idea behind that. And I just used a couple of neodymium, very strong magnets on one side of the paddle shifter, and one on the other side that's screwed to the quick release part here. And when I pull the lever, they just pull apart. This little thing here. It's just to make it that it makes better contact, because it's already a little bit. It's not completely straight here, because the way how thick this magnet is here, and so you won't be able to rebuild this one-to-one anyway. I mean, it's just an idea. Maybe you can take something from it. But I have to say it works great. It adds a lot of haptic feeling. I love it. It's really cool. It's not pretty, but who cares? It's behind my wheel. And I did the same thing with this F1 wheel here. the Thrustmaster F1 wheel has two sets of springs actually for the pedal shifters. The main springs and the ones that are directly on the switches themselves. I only have the ones on the switches because I had to remove, I'll show a couple of pictures here. I had to remove the main springs when I was modding this wheel to incorporate all the electronics and such to make room for them. But I found out back that there's not much difference actually in the action when you remove the springs. Still very, very weak tension here. The magnets, with the magnets it's great. It's a bit noisy now, but I guess there would be ways to tune that out. But the resistance is great. I had to do it a little bit different here because, as you can see, the pedal shifters here are actually it's one part. When you pull here, it lifts here, and the other way around. So I don't know if you can see this very well here. Lighting is not perfect. I used a screw. There's one magnet. The screw goes through the magnet, and on the other side, I also show pictures here, is a nut which I glued to the screw in a certain distance, so it can only pull out to a certain point, like here. And when you pull the pedal, you just push the screw into the hole. But on the other side, so I put it here. On the other side, you will pull the screw out with the magnets, or actually it's already pulled out. And when I pull here, so the magnets get separated here because of this, because the nut holds the screw back. Very simple system, but works perfectly. Yeah, very happy with that. I still don't know if I can incorporate this to. Wait a second. Perfect preparation. Hold on. There you go. Incorporate because I will use this wheel more now in the Formula Renault. I think it fits quite well there. But the pedal shifters of the SRW-S1 are crap, as is the whole wheel. Basically, it's a plastic toy. I mean, the handlebars here, there's a bit of play. Yeah, not really something you would use on a wheel with more force. The whole thing bends here. I wonder why. But anyway, the pedal shifters are very flimsy. Maybe I find a way to give them more resistance, but I have a feeling that when I use more force on them, they tend to break. We'll see. Anyway, that's actually all I can tell you about pedal shifters. Again, if you are interested in these or in the final product, just contact Sebastian. And the magnetic part, yeah, maybe you can take something with you and try it for yourself. It's definitely worth it. One piece of advice: these neodymium, I don't know what they are called in English. It's very strong magnets, but still very light. They use the same stuff in speakers, professional speakers, to make them not that heavy and still have power. Anyway, but the magnets actually break very easily, so you have to be careful. Cool. Yeah, that's that for part 3. See you in part 4.